The Nintendo Switch has just become the home of the good JRPG. You can't walk in the front door without first shaking hands with a JRPG on the way in. And what's most exciting about today is that I get to talk about one of my favourite series, or one of my favourite JRPG series of all time, and that's the Tales of series. Now if we go back, my very first Tales game was Tales of Symphonia, and I adored that game so much. It's what started my love for the series. When we learned that Tales of Vesperia was making its way onto the Switch, I've got to be honest, I actually wasn't that excited. Not because it's not a good game, because it is a fantastic game, but because after watching the initial trailer that lists off the features as just being new mystic arts, new costumes, and new battles, I was like, that's good, it's not great, but it's okay, and I wound up buying the game again. But then one of my friends told me that there's actually a new character being added, and I was like, huh, I didn't even notice that. So I went back, I watched the initial trailer, and I saw the new character. Then I also noticed that it says, all new features never before seen in the West. So I decided to do a little digging to see what they actually meant by that. And it turns out that there was not only the 360 version that I know, but a PS3 version that only released in Japan. Then I decided to dig a little deeper again, and I went through game FAQs and wikis. But what I didn't expect when I was digging is to hit solid gold. You see, this PS3 version had a multitude of new features that are apparently making their way onto this new Switch version, which would have been great to know. I would love a video detailing a lot of these features, which is why I'm here today. Now I want to start with the first big feature here, and that's the two new playable characters. So we have Flynn and Patty. I shouldn't have struggled that much with that one. Flynn is a knight, and if you've played the game before, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. He used to be a temporary character that would join you for a short time. However, now he's been made so he can be a permanent character in your party. On the other hand, Patty is a completely new pirate girl, one with the blonde hair that I talked about earlier, and she's a completely new character joining. I think the important thing here, and I do want to quickly touch on that, again, I have not played the PS3 version, so I'm just going off what I've read here, but from what I've read, they seem to join late in the game, which would totally make sense because they've been, well, Flynn first of all has been wrote into the story in a certain way that he can't just join in whenever, and then Patty is just an end game character who just being in your party without saying anything for the rest of the game would be a little bit weird. Why does that matter? Well, it just basically means that only the completionist people of these games, those who like to put in like 100+ hours, are really going to get their time's worth out of these characters. For the rest of us, they're just a little bit of an additional bonus that can feel a little bit light when you get a character and you only get them for a tiny bit of the game. It almost reminds me of Kratos for those of you who played Tales of Symphonia. I guess there's a lot of JRPGs that do the same thing, but they throw him in late in the game and it just doesn't feel like there's enough substance there. The next thing here is that the game has full voice acting. Now I want to be clear because while it says full voice acting and the script is almost double the size of what it was before, the full voice acting is they're referring to just the main quest there. Meaning that all the side questy type stuff, that's not all going to be voice acted, which makes sense because that would be a huge amount of voice acting. The game also has new battles and new modes in the coliseum. As anyone who's played a JRPG before, you probably know what a coliseum's like in one of these games. And if you haven't, how have you made it so far in this video? So I'm just reading here, the new feature that's added to the arena was apparently a team arena mode, which I would have assumed that this had that in there already. I don't really remember, but from memory, most of Tales games already have like a team arena mode in there. So those of you who remember playing the game will probably have more of an idea than me on this one.
How's this? Here's Buster. How's this? How's this? Nice lead smash!
I think one of the most exciting things for me in this is that there's new mini games. These games are always silly and fun, and this new one here that the only one that I've seen so far is Rapide Snowboarding. So Rapide is the dog wolf thing, I don't know what it is, and you can see it here basically sliding down this slope. As I said, it says games, so I'm actually wondering what the other mini games are in the first place. I couldn't find any information on them. There are some new bosses. I'm not going to go over them all because the only one that really interests me is the sword dancer because he's really cool and the opening cutscene of Tales of Symphonia had him in there. The bosses are now also replayable on Nam Combunda Isle, which I'll give you one guess as to what they're referring to with that. It's Namco Bandai. Is it Namco Bandai now or Bandai Namco? It's Bandai Namco. They're wrong now. There's only one more that I really want to go over here before I just do a quick fire through the rest of them, and that's this new key item. Now the item is actually called an art ball, and what it does is it allows you to equip another 8 arts. So normally you can only have 8 equipped, but this allows you to double that up, and the others are basically keybind behind the L1 trigger. So if you're holding the L1, all the keybinds change. Again, there's another one of those items, there's a lot of the stuff you're going to find out is that I'm not sure how like early in the game you're going to get this, so it might not be to the end of the game you even get to play with most of this new stuff. Alright, let's jump into the quickfire. So we have new cutscenes, new subplots, new main game quests, new side quests, new songs, new towns, new dungeons, new arts, new skills, new equipment, new skits, a scene skip feature, and new over limit levels. There isn't enough details on most of that stuff I just mentioned to really go deep into it, and it's unclear if everything is going to make its way over because obviously they haven't said anything, but it's safe to assume they would. Also, there's some things that are just like the Tales of Versus compatibility that's obviously not going to get into. There was a PSP game, I think it was a PSP game, and some of the costumes were just pre-order bonuses, so we don't know if they're going to be DLC, we don't know if they're going to be included at all, who knows what's happening with that. But there is an awesome Lloyd Irving costume that I am just in love with. I don't know, I forgot what the kid's name is, but I will definitely have that equipped on him. So that's about all that I found interesting. Now Nat's going to be picking up the game alongside new Super Mario Bros. U, lucky for me, because she is just a massive JRPG dweeb. And we're getting new Super Mario Bros. U because we just buy everything Mario. But I will quickly mention that if I find anything interesting after playing the game with Tales of Vesperia, I will likely do another video, have another chat about it, I'll find something to talk about. Otherwise, remember, for great Nintendo entertainment, you can count on me. Evening, before I go today, I just wanted to do a quick shout out to all my new subscribers, the people that are joining up the channel. I don't know which one of my videos is getting a bit of traction, but I've got a few new subscribers and I just wanted to thank you at the end here. So thank you, and I will see you around.